The new season of Urban Animal has launched on WEBTOON, and we're all excited for you guys to read what monster fight craziness we have in store. The funny thing is, I was so preoccupied with working on the actual comic that I almost missed my deadline for our premiere banner. You know, the thing we use for actually promoting the thing. Luckily, our WEBTOON editors are so nice and lenient and love us so much that they gave me a couple of extra days to whip out a banner before we went live. This video covers that whole thought process behind making such a banner, from conceptualizing to crying to drawing and actually executing the thing until you get this. So if your webcomic is one of the WEBTOON originals or featured series, every now and then you get spotlighted on front page. What gets put on their slideshow is your series banner, essentially the cover for your comic, the poster for your movie. It surprised me how difficult it was to create eye-catching images for Urban Animal without giving too many story details away. So the challenge for me was to create compelling banners that told potential readers what our story was about, without telling them what our story was about. For Season 1, as we were establishing the rules and characters of our world of shape-shifting misfits, I opted for very urban fantasy vibes, while making it clear our main character was a teenage kid. Later that season, we used one of the unpublished pieces of concept art to let our readers know that Urban Animal was a story about shapeshifters, harkening back to old favorites like Animorphs. For the finale week, we showcased Joe and Ralabast, careful not to spoil any major plot points in the story. For the Season 2 premiere, we celebrated the fact that there were monsters in our comic book and made sure to put as many monster shapes and monster faces in the cover, while also showcasing our major character, as well as everyone's favorite goth girlfriend, Kagan, who very quickly became popular among the readers after she showed up in Season 1. As the world of Urban Animal expanded in Season 2, so too did the threats. Fittingly, gracing our banners for that period would be the Order of the White Wolf, or the Ninja Dog Boys, and these scary ghost hands representing the Devourers, or creepy cannibal waifus as I like to call them. This theme of world expansion would carry over into Season 3, where we first premiered with Kagan and Ralabast, and then putting some shine on our villains, the Zodiac. The only time Joe appears in a banner for Season 3 was for the finale weekend, and there was a strong story reason for that, which I will not be spoiling in this video. If you're curious to jump into the world of Urban Animal and haven't yet, despite making it this far into the video, I urge you to give it a read. There's a link to our free webcomic in the description below. Season 4 had a very palpable tonal shift from urban fantasy to a darker, more visceral man versus monster feel. To evoke these vibes, the banners I created for that period were very reminiscent of action films like John Wick, or John Wick 2, or the third John Wick movie titled John Wick 3. Pretty much from the get-go, I wanted to do something a little different for Season 5's premiere banner. This far into the series, doing something story-related might have been difficult for new readers to latch onto. So conceptually, I dialed it back to the core of what Urban Animal is all about. And that's essentially a kid who can turn into animals. A chimera, which, in our world, is a sort of immortal nature spirit. Now, we've all seen those illustrations that sort of trace the evolutionary path of humans from like primitive organisms to ape-like creatures, which would later evolve into the very first hominids and then Homo sapiens. I wanted to play with that concept. I also took inspiration from that awesome Fatboy Slim video Right Here Right Now, which I loved the first time I saw it, way back in 1999. Oh god, I'm so old. So yes, armed with a concept and a dream, I worked on that banner. Now as you can see here in the time-lapse, some creative liberties were taken. I played around with Joe's chimera ability to form into different animal species from different animal groups. So starting from the left, I chose a tortoise because I knew I wanted something small-ish, but still visible and readable on a phone screen as that animal. A mouse or a lizard would have been too difficult to read. From reptile, I wanted to jump to another animal family. A bird would need to be flying to look interesting, and that would work against the momentum of the piece since the other creatures are walking. I thought about an arthropod like a large spider or crab, but it's a little hard to sell that locomotion in a single image, so I went the easy route and drew a spider monkey. Joe himself is in the middle, and then a lion. But right around that part of the illustration, I wanted to push the design further into the weird and gave the lion a dinosaur tail and legs. You know, as you do. And then, past the lion is what's hinted to be a dinosaur's tail, but your mileage may vary as to whether I executed that properly or not. A lot of people who enjoy my work have asked about my specific coloring process. I won't touch upon that here, but definitely in an upcoming video. If there's anything else you guys would like to see discussed or broken down, please leave a comment. Leave a like and subscribe as well. I really appreciate it and it helps me grow the channel. Now I felt this composition was strong and definitely eye-catching, but I felt like it needed something a little extra. So right at the end, I added the giant tentacles way in the background, just to sort of hint at the larger and weirder territories that urban animals sometimes ventures into. And yeah, that's the entire process for this front page banner that we got for the Season 5 premiere. And like I said, I'm excited for this season of the webtoon, and I'm excited for you guys to read it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.